Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the PreStream podcast. Today is Saturday, the 11th of June, 2022. Today is about halfway through my streaming week, or actually heading into the second half of my streaming week. And I hope that you're all having a good weekend. Some people are having a better weekend than others. Let's put it that way. A lot of, I don't even know how to categorize it. There's a lot of shit going down. If you're into content creation, if you're into following content creators, it doesn't seem like there's a safe place anywhere right now to be safe from drama. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, there's drama everywhere. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely out of control. And we're going to talk a little bit about that on today's podcast because, I mean, these are potentially issues that could affect someone like me in my streams. Although, admittedly, thank goodness, I kind of know how to stay in my lane. You know what I'm saying? Usually, I don't involve myself with big sweeping issues. We're here and we have a good time on stream every day and don't really concern ourselves with any kinds of stuff that may be going on, outside of these streams. By the way, I did not resize the camera. I just realized, I'm like, why do I look so big? I didn't resize it. There we go. Essentially, I'm on my own business, I don't really get too nosy about shit and don't get too vocal about things outside of, like, gaming. As you know, gaming I can get pretty vocal about. I mean, Lord knows how many times did I talk about The Last of Us in the last week already, right? But when it comes to other issues, I usually stay quiet. Today, I would like to cover said issues in a more matter-of-fact manner, as opposed to get opinionated about them, all right? So we will talk about that. But we're also going to talk about the Quarry, the new release from Supermassive Games, which I'm now 5 hours into. Supposedly the game's 10 hours long. I get the feeling it's going to take me like 12 hours to beat it because of the way that I play games, interacting with you guys and doing commentary and the like. It's probably going to take me longer than most to beat this game, I feel. So we're going to talk about that, what I think about that, and we may have some time for Q&A and the like on the pre-stream, depending on how things go today. But I certainly hope that you guys are having a good weekend, right? No matter what you're up to, maybe you're chilling, maybe you're playing games. I mean, this is essentially E3 week without E3, right? Like, this is the major week. All the new game announcements are coming out. Tons of news. Everyone's excited about video games, which is a great feeling. This is a good time of the year for us gamers, right? And if anything, like I figured would happen with all these game announcements and everything that have been coming out, all of a sudden, the gaming landscape is becoming more populated. We're getting an idea of what exactly will be happening in gaming in the next few months to the rest of the year. You take a look at the release schedule, and wow, now we got all these game release dates in there now, which we didn't have before. This is great. And of course, along with that comes a lot of information about games that we've been wondering about for quite some time. Yesterday, a lot of people got hands-on gameplay of Street Fighter 6, who were invited to Summer Game Fest to cover the game in person. Although it is an early build of the game with only 4 characters, they played it and messed around with it. And, a lot of people already are hitting me up with this on Twitter and stuff, saying, what do I think? I haven't seen all of it. I've only seen maybe a couple matches of gameplay of Street Fighter 6. All I'll say is it definitely seems a little bit slower paced. Like, I think they did it on purpose. Maybe to even accommodate for online play. The game does seem like it moves a lot slower than some previous Street Fighter games. At the same time, I hate to say it, it definitely looks like Street Fighter 5. Like, when you look at some of the gameplay mechanics and things in this game, it looks like Street Fighter 5 with a tweak. It doesn't necessarily, even though the visual style is different, it kind of looks like the gameplay elements may be Street Fighter 5 again. Now, the thing is, how can I say this? All right? You guys know I hated Street Fighter 5. You know that. Now, a lot of my feelings about Street Fighter 5 come from the early days of Street Fighter 5. When Street Fighter 5's beta was released, it was a nightmare that didn't work. When Street Fighter 5 initially was released as a full release, it didn't work. Then they turned it on and got it working, and it was a piece of shit. So we're talking like most of my opinions about the game are based on maybe like year one, okay? Because you know what they say? They say first impressions are what matter. Doesn't matter if you fix your game 2 years in. Your game needs to be good at launch, okay? And sadly, I hate to say it, that was the opposite of what happened with Street Fighter V. The game was a horrid mess at launch. Took likely around 6 months for it to even solidify to something that was like competitively playable. And even then, it took rebalance after rebalance after rebalance for them to actually get it to a level where it felt like a competitive Street Fighter game. By then, I didn't care, you know? Sorry, you know, how many times? How many times can you know, have to fix something before it resembles something that was great to begin with? You know, you changed Street Fighter from a good game into a bad game, and then you systematically took several years to make it a good game again. Obviously, you're a hack. You don't know what you're doing, you know? So, here's the thing. Even if Street Fighter 6 kind of looks like and plays like Street Fighter 5, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because by the end of the life cycle of Street Fighter 5, the game was a very different game. You see what I'm getting at? Like, if you played Street Fighter 5 only in its last year or two of its life cycle, okay, basically you played a different game than the original Street Fighter 5 from its first couple of years. And, you know, one other thing, when Street Fighter 6 comes out, there will not be a nickel and dime DLC for a while, which is good, because that really irked me about Street Fighter 5. Here's a game that at launch was bare bones and didn't work. It took you like 6 months to make a game work, so you felt like you were getting your money's worth out of it, and then they immediately start charging for DLCs. It's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, give us the quality we were promised when we bought the game to begin with before you start charging your customers for characters. Oh, and by the way, if you don't buy the characters, now you can't hang competitively because, you know, you don't know how to fight that character because they're not in your game. It was bullshit. You guys know how I hate that shit. So, I'm still approaching Street Fighter 6, at least as initial information we're getting about it, positively. There's a lot of information coming out that's really good. Like, for example, it was just announced it's cross-platform. What does that mean? Well, it means that not only will it be on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, but you will be able to play people across the platforms. So I can buy this on my Xbox Series X to play it on my Alpha stick, my Quarry, you know, Alpha joystick. And I can actually play against people on PlayStation and on PC. I don't have to buy multiple versions of the game to play people of a different grouping. And that is good. You know, I remember back in the days, Street Fighter 4, I had to buy both versions. And I did. I had it on PlayStation 3 and on Xbox 360. And I did various different sets to play against different, you know, competition bases. Now it's all in one. So that's definitely the crossplay functionality, something that really is a great service to the customer. Okay, and I like this. I mean, we were just talking about the Capcom Fighting Collection coming out in a couple of weeks, and how I'm going to buy both versions of that game, 2 different platforms to play against 2 different competition bases. You have to do that. Now you don't have to do that with Street Fighter 6, right? So here's the thing. A lot of people are going crazy and jumping the gun on this game and saying this and this about it. The game's not out yet. In fact, it's still being made right now. You know, it's only June. The game's not coming out till next year. There's a lot of time frame here for them to be, you know, still improving the game, twisting it around, you know, changing it a bit. I like what I see, and I'm feeling more positive the more that I hear about the game. It almost feels like they're definitely heading in the right direction this time around, as opposed to Street Fighter V, where it was almost like play school Street Fighter. Like, a bunch of kids got together to make a Street Fighter game, had no idea what the fuck they were doing. And then they released it for sale. I can't imagine what went on behind the scenes with the development of Street Fighter V, how bad that game was. Okay? So, I'm feeling good about it. And, you know, check it out for yourself. There's footage now on the internet of people who played the game yesterday. You know, I'll be covering it as we get more information about it over the course of this year. But so far, I'm feeling positive about it. I am. I'm going to try to erase all of that negative stigma in my head of Street Fighter V. I'm going to keep telling myself This is not Street Fighter V, even if sometimes it looks like Street Fighter V and may play similarly. It's not the original Street Fighter V. This is a game that developed for some 5-6 years, if not longer, and got better and better over time, and people like it, and I'm going to try to erase the negativity that I had, the bad taste, right? Brush my teeth, brush my mouth, brush the tongue, get a giant brush, and go, brush my tongue, try to get the bad taste out of my mouth, Street Fighter V, and approach this fairly, okay? All right, before we get to the schedule, let's talk about the game I'm playing right now, the Quarry, all right? I've played the Quarry now for 5 hours. Supposedly, it's a 10-hour narrative-based game. Okay, I say supposedly because I get the feeling with the style and the way that I play games, it's probably going to take me longer. I'm going to guess it's going to take me around 12 hours to beat it, only because, I pause to comment, I interact with you guys, I talk with you guys, you know what I mean? So, I get the feeling my playthrough will be longer, all right? But we're about 5 hours in. So, essentially, we're just under halfway through the game. Today, with another 3-hour stream, we will absolutely be a good tear through the game, maybe like 2/3 through the game by the end of today, okay? So what do I have to say about the game? All right? Graphically, character models look good, but there's some weird things in the game, for sure. Blurriness. I don't know what's up with the blurriness. There's a lot of blurry parts in the game where your character either looks blurry or the environment looks blurry or both. I don't know if it's stylized. I think it's meant to be stylized in that way. I'm okay with it, but a lot of people watching have mentioned it. It's not that big of a deal to me. The lighting. This game is fucking dark. Now, I think it was designed intentionally to be very dark. Sometimes people on stream are saying they can't see what's going on. Well, I can't see what's going on. That game is made that way. And I upped the gamma. It started at like 50. I upped it to like 75, and it's still dark, okay? So, again, I think that it's a stylistic choice in the graphics of the game. Outside of that, I do think that the graphics are good. The only weird thing about it, the water. The water in the game is fucking bizarre. I've never seen water represented like this in a game. It's almost like when the water splashes, there's a mirror on it, right? It looks like it's reflecting something. It's so weird. I've never seen water like that. It's odd, very odd. I don't know why they did that. Okay. Now, gameplay mechanics. It's pretty much a quick time event game with a few choices here or there. There's not much to it, but then again, there wasn't much to the Dark Pictures anthology, and there wasn't much to Until Dawn. It's the same style of game, okay? Yes, you will be, facing critical choices on how characters will behave, as well as things that characters will be up against, okay? And that's always par for the course for these kind of choose-your-own-adventure games. But has there been any kind of new gameplay mechanic introduced or anything original or different? Honestly, no. It's pretty much identical to other games you've played like this, okay? The plot. Well, 5 hours in, the plot is very sparse, surprisingly. Outside of the prologue, which pretty much shoves a lot of plot down your throat right away, outside of that, the plot moves like a snail. Seriously. And you would think for a horror game that once, these camp counselors start getting stalked or hunted, that the plot would be fast moving. It couldn't be further from the truth. It's actually quite slow paced. Something's going on, and then all of a sudden, it slows down to a crawl. And you're like, what? Like, what is going on here with that? Why is it so slow paced, right? I'm not exactly sure, quite frankly, but that's what they went for. They wanted it, I guess, to be a really slow-moving game. Maybe slow build, and then, oh my god, like explosion of activity or something. I wish that it would, like, stay at a more fast pace, because it really does drag. There are parts of this game that are, like, dragging. And the problem is, in a game like this, when it's dragging, now what happens is, it focuses in on the characters. Which leads me to my next point. The characters are pretty bad. If you're playing a game with a cast that you're trying to keep alive, you would like some incentive to keep them alive. Like, for example, oh, this is a good person who is interesting and funny, and I would like them to stay in the game. But when the cast is, no, Usagi, you were not banned. What are you talking about? I banned the troll. Didn't you see? I banned the troll, not you. You're not banned. Anyway, when your cast is an incredibly immature, jock-like character who all he cares about is crushing on a vapid, ditzy girl, and he dances around singing about peanut butter pops while saying some of the most, like, empty-headed dialogue I've ever heard in a game, you don't really care too much about him. Oh, by the way, yeah, the vapid, empty-headed, ditzy vlogger who literally runs around vlogging while she's being hunted by a creature instead of trying to stay alive. I mean, yeah, I mean, wow, right? Wow. And, you know, even the characters that aren't as bad seem to be the less developed characters, you know? Like this character, Ryan, who seems to almost be like the moral compass of everyone on the island. He's the one who was friendly with the owner of the camp, played by David Arquette, who's in the game for all of like 10 minutes and hasn't been seen since. And he's the one who's trying to keep them all safe. He's the one who heroically is running around with the gun trying to save them. You know, and he's the one who's trying to keep them kind of like not misbehaving. He's all right. But there's not, I don't, there's a single character in this game that I'm like, oh, what a great character who I care about. You know what I mean? Like, there's archetypes in horror movies. And typically in a horror movie, there's a couple characters that are meant to be the good characters that you gravitate towards, while everyone else who was an asshole gets slaughtered during the course of the movie, and you don't really care. Like, haha, here comes a gory execution scene as Jason, you know, chops off their limbs and shoves them up their ass or whatever. But in this game, it's kind of like, I don't know if I really care about anyone. Now, maybe that'll change, but, I mean, we're 5 hours in, right? We're 5 hours in. Are we going to get anything else going on here, or is this, you know, all we're going to get? I don't know. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, all right? Because I've been lying to you for the entire PreStream podcast up to now. That's why I said that. It's just a mannerism. That's why I just say it to emphasize I'm going to say something that's kind of noteworthy or important. That's why I say that. So, I'll be honest with you guys. So far, 5 hours into the game, I actually feel that this may be the weakest game that I have played from Supermassive Games. Now, again, that could change. All right? But right now, I am not impressed. I really am not. Like, I feel like Until Dawn was better, and even the Dark Pictures Anthology games, even Man of Medan, I think I liked better than this. At least there were more likable characters and a more original plot. This plot, as we're playing through it, I hate to say it, it feels like it's Until Dawn remake or something. It's almost the same plot at this point. Someone got bit and is somehow mutating and getting superpowers, right? Someone knows about these creatures on the island that are hunting them, and is maybe possibly even secretly trying to protect the cast from them. But did you play Until Dawn? Until Dawn, there's a bunch of Wendigos that are creatures hunting the kids. You come to find out the Wendigos are mutated people who got infected by something, and they mutate, and they live like forever, and they turn into these creatures. Like, it's the same fucking plot. Like, I feel like I already played it. You know what I mean? That's, like, what happened here? And I gotta ask this, too. Now, again, I'm only 5 hours in. Definitely the plot could change, and it could be different. But all the reviews said this game is like a 9 out of 10. I'm serious. Look at the mainstream media who reviewed this game. They're all like, oh, it's 8, 9 out of 10. Did you play any of the other games? Like, whenever you review a game, you should have a frame of reference. And the frame of reference, of course, in a game like this, it should be, you compare it to all the other games that company has made. Is it as good? Like, when I play Street Fighter 6, I'm going to say, is it as good as Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 3? I'm going to compare it to the previous games in the series. Okay? Did they not play the other games that Supermassive made to have that comparison? I'm confused. But anyway, I hate to say it, that's my initial impressions on the game. I was really hoping that after playing it all day long on Friday, I would have been intrigued and more entertained. Like, here's the thing, it's a horror game. There has to be horror today. You know what I mean? Like, there can't be all teen angst. It's impossible. Or else you would not call it a horror game. You'd have to call it a fucking Dawson's Creek game. You know what I mean? There has to be horror today. Heading into the 6th, 7th, and 8th hour. All right? So, let's see what happens today. All right? And I hope that it gets better. Okay? Now, obviously, I have to kind of address, you know, also what happened yesterday on my streams. Okay? And what I mean by that is, yesterday was one of the lowest supportive days that I've had ever as a full-time streamer. The first stream did okay. I think I raised something like $80 in tips, which is not bad at all. It's decent. But we didn't hit a tier 2 or tier 3 goal. The second stream, the late night stream last night, tied for my worst stream ever when it comes to support. Not views. We had over 300 people on the stream. Not engagement. People were liking the stream. People were talking on the stream and interacting with me. For some reason, it was the lowest supported stream. It tied. Now, just think about this. It's a new release. Okay? It tied with my playthrough of Mass Effect 3 last year. To give you guys perspective, if you weren't around last year, you weren't watching that playthrough. When I played Mass Effect 3, all right, this was part of the Mass Effect trilogy that had come out, okay? What was it, Definitive Edition trilogy, I think they called it, or something like that? Now, excuse me. When I played Mass Effect 3, it was directly after having played Mass Effect 1, okay? So, already, there was burnout, because I just played the first game in the series, and now I was moving on to the third. As we began to play Mass Effect 3, something startlingly apparent started to happen. We realized the game was boring, right? We realized that this game did not hold up like we remembered. The game is literally just run and gun third-person shooter. There's no RPG elements in the game besides dialogue trees. They really ruined it. The game is just not that good at all. And I hate to say it, but sadly, you know, paired along with the fact that it actually had some of the worst narrative choices in the entire franchise and the ending is bad, it didn't do so well. So after having played through that game, you know, near the end of my streams, I think it was right near the end, or if it was the final stream of Mass Effect 3, I did a stream where I raised $7 for the entirety of the stream. You know, it's about 2.5, 3 hours, late night stream. And at the time I was like, well, obviously you have sent me the message. You don't want any more Mass Effect. You're tired of this franchise, right? And I wasn't going to freak out or anything. At the time, it was my worst performing stream. I was like, it's not a huge deal or anything. But thank goodness we're done with this game and we're moving on. All right? But when I'm playing a new release, right? Highly anticipated. People were talking about it for weeks. They want to see me play it. Supermassive Games, you know. Makes great games. Until Dawn, one of people's favorite playthroughs of mine that I've ever done. And I'm doing a double stream of it on purpose because we want to get as far as we can. If I didn't do the double stream yesterday, we would have ended at the campfire before anything happened horror-wise in the game at all, and all we would have seen was teen drama shit. That probably would have been the worst way to cover the game. You know what I'm saying? I had to at least get to some horror, and you have to play about 4 hours into the game to really reach that. You see? Now, I don't know what caused it last night. And I've seen various people leave some comments on the videos last night. Some were just turned off by the game, can't believe how bad it is. And, you know, maybe that's the reason. Some people are like, well, you know, you did play the game all day. And maybe there's some people who watched your first stream, which did get support, but didn't make it to the late stream. Or maybe some people were busy watching your first session, hadn't finished it yet. And we're like, well, I can't come to the late stream now because I'm watching the first session. I don't want to spoil myself. It makes sense. It's a narrative-based game. You absolutely would be spoiling yourself if you didn't see the other stuff first, right? Some people were just of the impression that it was just bad luck. And some people were basically like, you know, there's other various reasons, inflation and the like. Now, here's the thing. I love it when people try to justify something with something that doesn't affect anything else. You say, oh, well, it's inflation. Because inflation, you had a bad stream last night. Okay. That doesn't explain how I've had good streams since inflation started earlier this year. That doesn't explain how there were other really good streams this week, you know? And that's why overall, I'm not going to sit here and freak out about it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I had one bad stream this week and that's the end of everything. That would be pretty ridiculous and unfair and just dramatic of me. I'm not doing it. You notice, I'm talking about this from a very analytical perspective. I'm not freaking out and saying, oh my God, oh, the world is ending, oh. I'm not going to do that, okay? But yeah, definitely, when you say inflation is the reason, it's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I just did a stream a couple days ago where it was a live reaction to Summer Game Fest. That stream did exceptionally well. In the last couple of weeks, I've had really great streams, so support-wise. So, what you're saying makes no sense. It just doesn't. Maybe it was just a perfect storm, right? It could have been. It could have been. It could have been people were burnt out from the first 3 hours and didn't make the late stream. People were watching the first 3 hours and didn't make the late stream. You know, there's a million things you can say. I don't think I'm necessarily sitting here, and freaking out, like I said. But when it starts to be alarming is if it becomes a pattern. So I hope it doesn't become a pattern. You know what I mean? I'm playing the Quarry again today. I'm playing it again tomorrow on the late stream. I'm going to be trying to finish up my playthrough on Monday night. I hope this doesn't become a running pattern with this game. That every time I play it, you know what I mean? That every time I play it, that it's just like abysmally slow for support. All right? So we'll see. Let's see today what happens. I hope the game picks up. I hope it's more interesting. Seriously, like I want more horror elements. I want more scary stuff. I want more choices. That'll be important. And I want less nonsense. Less fucking vlogging while you're running for your life. You know what I'm saying? That would be better, in my opinion. So let's see what happens. I hope the game gets better today. Because here's the thing. As you guys know, I've always said this. Here's my line of thinking and my rationale when it comes to being a content creator and a streamer. If I'm playing a game and I'm having a good time while I'm doing it, and if you guys are having a good time watching me play said game, if we're all having a good time together, and by the way, when I say having a good time, there's various different ways that you can have a good time. You could be really enjoying the game, or you could literally be razzing the game, you know, which I feel like at this point is kind of what I'm doing, is I'm cringing so bad at some of the dialogue that we're all collectively laughing at the game together at how bad some of these characters have been written, right? And it's still fun to do that. I was actually saying this morning, I says, here's what's going to happen. At the end of the game, I mean, based on how the game's gone so far, at the end of the game, the remaining camp counselors will be on the run from several creatures. And what will happen is, at the last minute, they will throw a bag and it will land right in front of the creatures. And all the camp counselors will stand there and start going, peanut butter pops, peanut butter pops, peanut butter pops. And the bag will explode. And all the creatures will instantly realize they're allergic to peanuts. And their throats will seize like, and they all just die right there. That's the end of the game. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the end of the game, the way that the game's been written. You know? And you might think, well, that's ridiculous. Why did Phil just do that? Because the characters have done this in the game. They have danced saying peanut butter pops. Multiple characters. Anyway, so you see my point. We can, even if the game is not that good, we can still have a good time with the game, all right? Anyway, getting back to my point. As long as we're all having a good time together, right? My mentality has always been, people will like that. They'll want to continue to have a good time, and they will support the means by which they have said good time. So if you're on my stream and you're having a good time, oh, wow, this is great. I will contribute. I will support this stream, right? And in general, that always happens. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't happen last night. We were having a good time. The viewership was good. We were laughing at the bad writing of the game and the silliness of it, and it didn't translate. Okay? I hope that's not the case today. All right? Let's see what happens today. I hope it's not a running pattern with this thing. The good news is, today, we are not just playing the Quarry. All right? Maybe that was my big critical mistake yesterday, was thinking that playing it all day would rally, attention and support. So maybe that was my fault. All right? Today, on the late stream, we're doing Street Fighter. Saturday Night Fights, only the second to last session of the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Only 2 sessions to go. All right? And I love playing old school Street Fighter. You guys tune in every week. You support it. You have a good time with me. I appreciate that. I hope you'll be here tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, for the second to last session ever of that collection. All right? Good. Now, tomorrow, everyone, is a very different kind of day. Because tomorrow, first of all, my stream starts at 9 a.m. I'm going to emphasize that. Tomorrow's first stream starts at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That is very early. Very early. The early bird hasn't even caught its worm yet. All right? The sun is barely awoken. Okay. So, why is my stream starting at the crack of dawn? Okay, I'm obviously being very dramatic here. Because tomorrow is the Xbox and Bethesda game showcase. All right? It starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And since it starts at 10 a.m. and I want to cover it, my stream starts at 9. We'll do an abridged PreStream podcast tomorrow. And then we'll cover it. It'll be a live react. Okay? All right. I'm going to cover it just like I did the other events. I'll be watching it live with you, doing live commentary on everything that's announced. And then after that, we'll take a break. And then after that, I will do my recap reactions. By all reports, it's supposed to be about a 90-minute to 2-hour presentation again, much like Summer Game Fest was. So, hopefully you will join me for that live, okay? And if after my recap reactions, it's on the earlier side, I mean, I may do a little bit of Q&A, but I may actually end the stream a little early. Honestly, I have some things I could basically do or get caught up on if I end the stream like an hour early. So we'll see what happens. All right, I'm already starting way early, so it stands to reason I could end it about an hour early, okay? Okay. That's the first stream tomorrow. Very different. What will we see at the Xbox Bethesda Showcase? Games. What I'm hoping for is a lot of Game Pass games. I know they won't all be Game Pass games, but I hope there's a lot. I hope that they will reinforce the value of Xbox Game Pass tomorrow. There you go. Okay. Tomorrow night on the late stream, The Quarry. 2 hours of The Quarry on the late stream tomorrow. Okay? And then on Monday, what a different kind of day on Monday. Okay? First of all, on Monday, we're going to be doing, excuse me, we're going to be checking out the PlayStation Plus service tiers. And what I mean by that is the new PlayStation Plus service will launch in the United States and North America in general on Monday. And I'm going to be getting the highest tier, which I think is $18. And the highest tier includes PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 games, plus full demos of certain games and other features. So we're going to be checking this out for a couple of hours. We're going to be dabbling about, messing around with the new PlayStation Plus service on launch day. It should be interesting to see what's in there. It'll be pretty exciting because I think a lot of people want to see what's available and how it works. How do the PS3 games stream? Do they even work? How do the PS1 and PS2 games look? We'll find out. We're going to download some of them and try them. Okay? Cool. Excuse me. Then, at 3 p.m. on that stream, we're switching it up because there will be a Capcom showcase presentation, about a 30-minute long show similar to the State of Play from Sony about a week ago. And I'll be live reacting to that and then doing my recap reactions of that to end my stream. So this show will not be showing anything new, but it will be showing more information on the games that were already announced, including Resident Evil 4 Remake and Street Fighter 6. So obviously, I'm interested in those. So I'd like to get more info on them. And we'll find out on Monday. And then Monday night, more of the Quarry. And I'm hoping that since by then it'll be like 12 hours, I will wrap up my first playthrough of the game. Okay? I hope. Now, admittedly, with the way that the game is going, I'll be honest with you guys, because I've been lying to you the entire pre-stream up to now. That's why I'm saying that. I'll be honest with you guys, again, emphasizing that this is something important and notable I'm about to say. That's why I say that mannerism. I don't know if the Quarry will warrant a second playthrough. All right? I guess it really depends on what happens now on. Up to now, I don't think anything so interesting has happened in the game that I want to play it again. I'm just being honest. That could change. But I don't know if would you guys, I mean, if the first playthrough wasn't so interesting to you guys, right? And, you know, people are complaining the game is one of the worst games Supermassive ever made. Do you really want to see me do a second run already? You know what I'm saying? And also keep in mind that there's going to be other stuff going on. Coming up this week, we got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game coming out that I'm absolutely playing. We got to finish up WWE 2K22. We got one more session of that to finish it. We've got the new PlayStation Plus service, which we could start messing around with, maybe downloading and playing some games on it, right? Skyrim will continue. All right, we've got stuff to do. It's not like, oh, there's nothing to do. It's quite the opposite, actually. There's a lot to do outside of replaying this game. So if this is the case and people just don't want the game again, we don't have to play it again. By the way, I still have to finish Uncharted 2. I got one more session of that, and that's been on hold. Okay? So, let's see what happens with this game over the next few days with the first run. And if there is demand for a second run, I'll do it. And if not, we have tons of other stuff we can move on to and pretend like the game never existed, I guess. Okay? Fair enough? Okay. All right, that's the schedule. Now, of course, tons of new releases coming up this month. On the 23rd, well, first of all, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge on Thursday, this Thursday, the 16th. On the 23rd, we got Sonic Origins. On the 24th, we got the Capcom Fighting Collection and that Fire Emblem Three Houses game. That's the Musu game. And again, I'm on the fence about that. I'm probably not playing it on launch day, but I might play it eventually. The end of this month, we've got the Cuphead DLC. Okay? So there's a lot coming. So it's going to be a busy month once we start hitting these new releases. Okay? All right. A few other odds and ends. As of today, we have reestablished the record high number of members on the channel. 625 is the most we've ever had here on DSPGaming. Okay? That's amazing. Thank you guys for that. If anyone becomes a new member today that hasn't been one before, boom, we hit a new record. If anyone gifts any memberships today, any gifted memberships, boom, we hit a new record. So, there you go. Speaking of memberships, we have 2 events coming up, Viewer's Choice and a new React event. In regards to the Viewer's Choice, you guys have been nominating games in droves for Viewer's Choice, both members and non-members, okay? How do you nominate games? Well, you go to the community tab of DSPGaming channel here on YouTube, and in the tab, there's a post on that page that says, hey, post up here and nominate games. All right? Please do. However, there's some criteria that you should follow. No lengthy RPGs, no visual novels, no MMOs or only multiplayer-based games. It's got to be a game that has a start, a middle, an end, and it's a reasonable length. That's not going to be a game that I'm playing for like 2 years. Like right now, ridiculous Skyrim playthrough. Not that I'm not liking it, but I can't play another game like that. The intention here is that this is supposed to be a playthrough that I'm going to be doing over the course of the summertime, you know, July, August. And then we wrap it up in time for the fall and all the new game releases that will be coming out then. So, thank you to everyone who's nominated things so far. And please continue to nominate if you can. All right? I appreciate that. Now, in regards to the upcoming React event, as of now, I have no updates because we're not working on it yet. I just did a big React event a week ago. It was 1 week ago today that I did the John and Howard React. It feels like much longer than that. It actually does. I don't know what it is. It feels like I did that like a month ago. It does. You know what it is? It probably took so much out of me when I did it. And also, my voice has never recovered. If you can hear, that was the day where I talked for 12 hours straight without much break. And my throat has not really recovered from it. And I think it's a combination. My allergies have been bad and everything, but as you can hear, my throat has kind of been messed up and gunked up for like a week. I'm hoping it gets better soon. But anyway, it really feels like it was a forever ago. It does. But the next React event will absolutely, positively not be drama. All right? It's not going to be any kind of drama that I'm going to be reacting to. Now, what can we do? We can react to a documentary about maybe another content creator, like something from Down the Rabbit Hole or June the King. I have approval to do those kind of documentary reacts. Or it could be something a little different, like a true crime doc or a supernatural style story or countdown, you know, stuff like that. I have some permission to do that kind of stuff too. So I want you to think in your head what you'd like. And I'm going to, later on this month, I'm going to start asking you guys, maybe poll on what would you like to do. But there's no point in doing it now because I'm not doing it right now. We're already doing so many reacts, right? We just did 2, and I'm doing another one tomorrow. I'm doing another one on Monday. There's rumors there may be a Nintendo Direct coming up this week, in which case, if I can, I'll probably react to that too. So with all these react events, there's absolutely no reason for me to be worrying about another react deal at this point, okay? So yeah, we'll talk about it later this month, and likely we'll try to plan this event either for very late June or early July when things slow down with all these releases, okay? Okay. Oh. I'm sorry, Alduin. I burped right in your face. That's why he's making that roar. He's so upset at me because I just belched right in his face. That was disgusting. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So outside of all of that, got a couple things I want to touch upon this morning. All right. First of all, a situation that happened overnight over on our old haunting grounds, our old stomping grounds. Remember, there used to be this place we used to be all the time? Man, think back down memory lane. There was this place where on a daily basis, I would live stream. I would broadcast myself to the world on this place. And I built a community at this place. 4.5 years of my life was invested in building a business and community around this live streaming platform. And man, it was fun. We had all kinds of special events and cool things. We had channel points where people would wager penne points on if I could do a challenge in a game. And it was really creating a new kind of interactive and fun style content. What was the name of that place? Man, if only I could remember said place where I used to stream. Oh yeah, it was called What a Fucking Hellhole Cesspool Piece of Fucking Dog Shit .tv. Because let me tell you, ever since I left Twitch TV last year, that website has literally gotten worse on a daily basis. I hear horror story after horror story after fucking horror story. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up today is because back then when I used to stream on Twitch, okay, there used to be people who would say to me, Phil, I don't understand why you have a manual leaderboard. Everyone else who's a full-time streamer on this site has an automated system, right? Some people have said to me, Phil, I don't understand why you don't have your chat from your streams on the screen. I just don't get it. A lot of other streamers do this. Not everyone, but a lot of other streamers enjoy having their chat as a running log here on the side of the screen while they're streaming. And I just don't understand why you don't do the things that other people do. Okay? Now, every time that I would be asked these questions, I would respond as rationally as I could and explain to my audience, listen, the reason I can't do this stuff, is because I am not the same as everyone else. I am not treated the same as everyone else because I have what's called a hater base or a group of trolls, a bunch of obsessed nut jobs. I mean, you can call them whatever you want, okay? But basically, in a nutshell, there's a group of people who follow me around the internet for no good reason at this point. At one point, there might have been justifiable reason. There's just no good reason anymore. And they do whatever they can to ruin my life. That's the best description of it at this point. Because it's not just, oh, we want him to reform. We want him to become a better person. It's just, they just want to ruin everything that they possibly can in regards to me and my life, as long as it doesn't negatively affect them. Okay. So, that being said, seriously, that being said, okay, the reason I always have a manual leaderboard, I still have it now on YouTube, right? The reason I don't have the chat on stream, right? The reason I don't have these things is because there are people who try to circumvent whatever kind of protections you may put in place to say and do things on a stream that are definitely not allowed and that you would not want on your stream. I'm talking about racist stuff. I'm talking about gender insults. I'm talking about sexualized nonsense. You know what I'm saying. The big bad stuff. The N-word. The F-word. You know, the terrible things that people literally do just to get people's go on the internet. And it works, right? People get triggered by that shit all the time, okay? And so I make an active and concerted effort to keep that kind of crap off of my content, all right? I don't support it. I don't like it. I don't want to talk about it. It's bullshit, and it should never be in my content ever. So I've done my absolute best to try to prevent it. And you could set up as many filters as you want. You could set up as many bot protections as you want. Every once in a while, something's going to still slip through the cracks. Okay? And there's nothing you can really do about it. All right? It just happens. In this case, if I had an automated leaderboard, someone could make a racist name, right? And then do a contribution to try to get on the automated leaderboard. And then stuck there on my stream until I realize it's there and I manually remove it. It's a nightmare, right? If I had a chat here, or the running chat room, someone could try to circumvent the filters or whatever and say nasty stuff, and oh, now it's in my content. See? So I purposely have these protections in place. Now you might say, well, it's not a big deal, Phil. No one gets in trouble for that stuff. It's, you know, it happens every once in a while to everyone. You know, trolls can be trolls. It's not a huge deal. But I'm Darkside Phil. I am not any other content creator or streamer. I'm Darkside Phil. I'm the guy that was sitting right here playing Returnal. And I had a bunch of marbles in my mouth, and I basically jumbled a bunch of words together. Okay? It was a nonsensical sentence that I said. I was like, ah, blah, blah, blah. And someone reported it saying that I've said the N-word, and Twitch suspended me for it, even though I didn't even say the word. Okay? So I'm in a different category than everyone else. I just am. And I've accepted this. That, for me, I have to do things differently. I can't have the same things everyone else has because there's this nasty group of toxic people who try to ruin my life. All right? So I can't have the same freedoms and the same fun that everyone else has. I have to lock shit down, essentially, so that I can keep making a living doing what I love. Okay? Now, all that being said, as I just said an interesting statement. I said, people said, oh, Phil, don't worry about it. People don't get in trouble for that kind of stuff. Trolls will be trolls, and you know, it happens every once in a while. Guess what? Guess what just happened? Guess what just fucking happened on Twitch? Asmongold, a huge streamer. The guy is very, very popular. He's entertaining from what I've seen. I mean, I've never really had an interaction with the guy. But from the content that I've seen that he puts out, he has entertaining content. He does gameplay, but he also does React style stuff. You know, he does all kinds of shit. He's been streaming on Twitch for years and years. He's one of their bigger streamers, if not one of the biggest streamers over there. He's got a very dedicated and loyal fan base. The guy is not one of these assholes who literally tries to cause problems in his content for drama purposes and then get views. He's totally not that. All right? Just want you to understand that. This is not one of these assholes who's coming out and saying political shit to get into trouble so that now he can get clickbait. He's nothing like that. All right? He's a real guy, and basically he does his absolute best to keep bullshit out of his content. Okay? So, He's huge, by the way. Ginormous streamer, like I said. He's playing Diablo Immortal, the new mobile game that just came out. What was it, last week or the week before? I can't exactly remember. But it just came out. All right. And he's covering the game. Now, I don't know why he's covering it. I don't know if he's just interested in it, if it's good. I don't know if he's getting paid to do it. Who knows? Who cares? That's not the point here. He's playing, Diablo Immortal. And as he's playing it, he wants to show the features of the game. So he's got the whole game on his screen, including the in-game chat room and everything. You want to show the game. You don't want to only show parts of the game. You want to show everything that's in the game. All right? So as he's playing it, someone in the in-game chat room, this is not his chat room. This is not his pop-ups on his stream. It's literally nothing he can control at all. Someone in the in-game chat of Diablo Immortal says the N-word. And not even the full N-word. It was like, oh, break up the N-word with periods between the letters and shit to escape any filters that may already be built into the game. You know what these idiots do. They're so lame. They think that, oh, look at me. I can say this word. Wow, you're such a special snowflake. Really? You fucking idiot. So anyway, this happens, and, they type it out with all these shit characters in between so it shows up in the chat. Okay? He's not even at his PC at the time. I think he had said he stood up because he was like adjusting. He has a blanket he wears sometimes, silly stuff on his streams or whatever. So he was standing up and adjusting himself. He sits back down, and everyone's telling him this just happened. He's like, well, what are you going to do? I hate this. Obviously, this is terrible that happened. I'm sorry that if you saw that, nothing I could do about it. It's the in-game chat. Maybe I got to be a little bit more selective about showing the in-game chat. If this is something that's going to become common in the game, I don't know. So he's streaming, and then I guess as he finishes his stream, he gets a notification from Twitch. He's been suspended. He says, what? And he contacts Twitch. Now, the thing is, I know what happens when this happens. You can either contact their bullshit form letter customer service department, or you can contact the legal team. Those are the two groups you can contact. All right? Now, being that this was just a 24-hour suspension, he probably just contacted the bullshit automated customer service response team. And he asked them, what the hell just happened? Why am I suspended for 24 hours? And they say, oh, well, the reason that you're suspended, all right, is because there was the N-word on your stream. And he goes, what are you talking about? It wasn't in my chat. It wasn't in my pop-ups. It was in a game. That's the game's fault. I didn't do it. He said, even then, when people told me it happened, I came back, I talked about it on stream, and I said, this is wrong. People shouldn't do this. Look at this idiot trying to get one over on us. It's dumb, and maybe I'll be more selective now in what I do. I apologize to my audience. How can you hold me accountable for that? And they held him accountable for it. Now, I guess someone just said, I guess as of now, he might have been unsuspended. And you want to know why? Because he made a stink about it on the internet. He posted a video about it saying, I can't believe this because this is an insult to me. That this would happen to me. I'm someone who is the antithesis, all right, of this. I don't want this in my content. I don't want this on my streams. I'm not about this. I'm not some drama hound asshole. Why am I being held accountable for something that happened as a one-off random thing in a game, and it wasn't even something I could control? It happened in the game itself, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I 100% support him. This is fucking bullshit, all right? And the other thing is, when this happens, there should be some avenue to have a way to appeal the decision and get it fixed, all right? Twitch does not have that. There's no appeals process on Twitch. It's you're punished, deal with it. I don't understand that process at all. How can you say that this is how you run your business, all right? Now, to reiterate what happened to me last year, I had no community strikes against my channel. I had nothing wrong with my channel on Twitch last year. I was in good standing with this business. I've been doing business with Twitch for 4.5 years as part of the partner program, raking in good money through things like cheers and paid subscriptions, okay? At the time that I was removed from the partner program, I had over 900 subscribers. They're making money on me, okay? What happens? All right. One day, as I'm streaming, out of nowhere, people are like, uh-oh, our chat crowns are disappearing. Right? What's going on? Why are our chat crowns all disappearing? Okay? And no one can figure out what's going on. Come to find out, I get a message. Oh, this is a message from Twitch legal team. You've been kicked out of the partner program. There's no way to appeal this decision. Basically deal with it and have a nice day. They didn't even give me a reason. They just kicked me out. Huh? So here I am going through hoops. I write a log to the stupid customer service desk of theirs. They say, oh, we can't deal. We don't know what this is. You got to talk with the legal team. So I email the legal team. What the hell's going on? And the legal team responds, well, we launched an investigation. I just want you to think about this. I'm not in bad standing. I haven't done anything wrong. I've received no community strikes, nothing against my channel. But they launched an investigation against me. Why? What prompted this action? Right? Huh? So we did an investigation. And basically, during our investigation, we have determined that you have used hateful slurs. And therefore, you are not eligible to be part of our partner program, so we removed you. Now, you have the ability to reapply for our partner program in a year's time. Or, I think it was like, after 6 months, you can apply for the associates program. Okay? So I responded to them and I said, listen, I do not use hateful slurs. I am insulted that you would say that. I am probably one of the least hateful guys that do content full time. I don't get into politics. I don't get into religion. I don't get into race issues. None of this is part of my content. All I do is play video games, right? Do I get angry at the games? Yes. But if you're going to punish me, you're claiming that I'm using hateful slurs in my active content now. I want you to prove it. Provide the evidence of your investigation. All right? Provide it. Tell me what I've done that's hateful. I want to know. Okay? And I said, and if you don't have this evidence because you're lying and you didn't actually conduct any kind of investigation against me, for some reason you just wanted me out of your partner program, I want you to tell me. Because then it sounds like I'm going to have to take some recourse. All right? They ghosted me and never responded. So they felt it's best of our interest to just be quiet. Okay? Because they knew that if they said anything, I could sue them. They violated the partner agreement by kicking me out of the partner program, but not providing any evidence of wrongdoing. That's actually a violation of their own agreement. They have to prove you did something wrong to qualify to be kicked out. They can't just kick you out and not have evidence. Okay? That's actually illegal. That breaks the law. That's a contract that has been violated, and I could sue them for it if I wanted to right now. Okay? Now, am I going to sue them? No. I don't have the means. I don't have the time. And quite frankly, at most, what would I get out of it? $1,000 maybe. You know, you probably prove that because I went from Twitch to YouTube, I immediately lost an insane amount of support. And that support that I normally would have had via the streaming service on Twitch, it's their fault for kicking me out that I lost it. And therefore, I could probably sue them for a certain month's worth of time of lost revenue because they violated our agreement. And I could probably sue them for a few other things as well. All right? At most, I probably would get, what? A few $1,000, $10,000. Who knows what it would have been. But the problem is the court case would have been years. It would have been me getting a lawyer, signing them up, getting on board. I don't have the money, so it would have to be a lawyer that, whatever we win, I'm going to take a bunch of fees out of that, and then you get whatever's left. And then the lawyer goes and hits them with all this lawsuits and shit. Basically, do what Dr. Disrespect did. That's exactly what it would be. And he won a settlement because Twitch realized they were going to lose with the way that they handled him, so they just paid him a lot of money to go away. Okay? Essentially, it's probably what would have happened here as well. They probably would have just hit me up and said, let's do a settlement, to get you to shut up about it, and then we'll just move on because we're rolling in dough anyway. We don't care. You see? But the point that I'm making here is Twitch does this all the time. They violate their own rules. They do whatever they want, and they're incredibly unprofessional. Okay? They change programs that you're involved in and don't tell you, right? Oh, at one point you have a partner manager. Oh, we laid off the partner manager and didn't even tell you have no point of contact with our business anymore, even though it's where you do business every day. What? Like, it's the most unprofessional shit. It's bullshit, okay? So for me, you know, at this point, do I care? Am I going back to Twitch? No. And it's hilarious because in the last year, a lot of people have said to me, Phil, you're going to go back because you make more money over there. No, never. I will not go somewhere where I'm going to be treated unfairly and unprofessionally. I'm not stupid. At any moment, if I go back there, it could just happen again. It could just happen again. It's bullshit. Okay? So, that being said, you know, when I hear about this happening a year later, right? This is just, it's continuing the pattern of bad behavior, the pattern of unprofessional behavior. We're going to punish a streamer for something he has no control over on his stream, happened at a moment, in one moment, was gone, and then he immediately corrected the action by saying, I'm sorry that happened. That shouldn't happen. I don't ever want this to happen again. Why is he suspended? He didn't fucking do anything wrong at all. Why is he treated like this? And I hate to say it, there's a lot of unfair treatment over there because there's people who get away with shit for various reasons. And God forbid that I tell you my actual thoughts on this because I'll be crucified by the internet. So I'm not going to, right? I just feel there's completely unfair treatment over there when it comes to certain kinds of streamers. You know, it's not fair. It's not fair and equal treatment. Everyone claims they want fair and equal treatment, but then there is none. You know, it's unfair that this guy's getting punished for absolutely nothing. He did nothing wrong. And if he were in another situation, it might have been completely differently treated or handled, you know, and that's bullshit. It's just not fair. We've seen so many people doing fucked up things on Twitch and get away with it. Then something completely out of your control happens or get punished. Fuck off. Now, the problem is, Asmongold's not going to leave Twitch. He needs, you know, they pay more money. They just do. Okay? They just do. There's more discoverability over on Twitch. There's the partner program over there. You're going to get more gifted memberships. You're going to get more memberships. I say memberships. They're subs over there. You're going to get more of that in general. Why? Because they have Amazon Prime. So you're going to get your Twitch Prime subs. It's just going to be more profitable, right? So, to me, all right, this situation is fucking stupid as shit. People are saying he did get unbanned this morning. Well, as of this morning when I was planning to talk about this on the podcast, he was not. So I guess this is good news. But you see the point I'm making? At any point, they think they can do whatever they want. And by the way, Ross, please just stop talking now. He's, oh, but the Twitch contract for the partnership is a unilateral agreement. They can terminate you at any time. Wrong. I don't care what the contract says. Wrong. Right now, if I go to work at a company, we have what's called at-will employment in the United States. And the contract you sign, the employment contract says they can terminate you at any time for any reason. Wrong. It doesn't matter what the contract says. I could sue them when I get fired and say I was unfairly terminated, and I can win. There's no such thing as a unilateral contract where someone can terminate you without justification. It doesn't exist. It's bullshit. Okay? All you have to do is say, prove why you have to prove why you terminated that contract. In this case, the legal team emailed me and said, we did an investigation and found harmful slurs. But then they didn't prove it. Therefore, they broke the law. You can't say I did something and not prove I did it. Okay? It's just bullshit that people think this. Oh, corporations are just completely immune from any kind of legal protections at all. You know, when you work for someone, you're fucked. You're out of your mind. You're literally out of your fucking mind. That's not how the law works. If you're unfairly treated, you can actually sue and get restitution for that, right? This is so dumb. Anyway, all that being said, it's a bullshit situation, and it just seems like it's getting worse and worse on Twitch. And I feel like people should leave there. I'm just being honest with you guys now. People should leave. If they have the ability to and the flexibility to, they should leave. All right. The only reason that Asmongold got him banned is because he made a video about it and people put up a stink about it all over the internet because he's popular. But for every Asmongold, there's 1,000 of me who don't have the clout of Asmongold, who don't have that. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, it's not fair. It's just not fair that they treat people like this on a daily basis and get away with it. Oh, but there's a unilateral contract. Bullshit. You don't even understand how things work. Really, you don't. You can't systematically abuse the people who make the content that make you money. It's just not allowed. Legally, they could get sued right now in a class action lawsuit and get destroyed. There's enough evidence out there right now, you know. But it's neither here nor there. I'm not there anymore. I don't plan on going back. There's no reason to ever go back there. If ever something went south here on YouTube, I would find somewhere else to go that's not Twitch. I just don't want to go back to a place where I'm going to be treated badly and treated unfairly, you know. Okay. All right. So, oh, by the way, and I'm well aware there's another controversial thing happening here on YouTube regarding this guy, Actman. He's a YouTuber who's been on this site making a living for many, many years, has a big following, and apparently he ended up getting into a fight with another YouTuber who he is accusing of being some kind of a anti-LGBTQ person, and I guess he got into a fight with this guy, and they went back and forth for a while. He was making videos about the guy, negative videos. The guy was talking about him in a negative way, and it's not clear what happened, but apparently the guy, his whole channel got demonetized, and other videos even are getting hit with like false copyright strikes and stuff. And come to find out that it's not like a mistake and it's not a false flagging campaign, but I guess it's YouTube doing it. So, you know, it's hard for me to really summarize this situation because I don't know all the ins and outs. It's a very complex situation. Apparently something that's been developing for like a long time. But it hit the fan this week because I guess when Actman got demonetized, he's basically like, well, if I'm demonetized, I'm going out of business. This was my job, but if I can't monetize my content, right? Then I can't make a living here and I have to quit, you know, which is messed up. I have a following or whatever. And it's not fair that I'm getting demonetized when I'm criticizing this guy who's anti-LGBTQ, and it doesn't make sense because YouTube claims to be a proponent of people, you know, no matter how they identify themselves, they support that. Yet here's a guy who's completely anti, and they're basically kind of backing him and demonetizing me. So then come to find out, YouTube's like, well, the reason we demonetized you is because you made threats against us. Take a look at these Twitter posts. And they start linking Twitter posts that's like, he made a joke that he was going to dox people who work at YouTube or something like that. And I guess what it was supposed to be was a parody post because this guy who he's criticizing had doxed people in the past. So, I mean, basically, the way I see it is, all right, the whole situation's fucked. I don't really know the full situation, so I can't really fully comment on it. The whole situation's fucked up. Okay? Listen, if there's someone on YouTube who's a scumbag, and you think they're a scumbag, and you want to criticize them for being a scumbag, you should have the right to do that. At the very same time, okay, you have to be very careful about the things that you say and do on the internet, because they can come back to bite you, especially in the realm of parody. You know, you can argue that things you do are a parody of something else, but if someone don't get the whole situation or don't understand it, then they can misconstrue it. Because here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you that anything that the guy, I guess he's criticizing is defensible. I don't even care. The guy's a scumbag, he's a scumbag, all right? But the moment that you make a Twitter post, even joking, that you're going to dox people who work at YouTube, I mean, you've reached the realm of oops, I fucked up. Okay? I understand that if you're seeing that Twitter post in context to the entirety of the situation, you would understand that it's a joke. But companies don't care. Companies aren't going to sit there and study the whole situation. Companies are going to look and see the one post and say, that's it for you. We got nothing to do with you ever again. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where the whole situation went south. Do I agree with Actman's content being demonetized and this guy essentially being like steamrolled off the site? No, I don't. At the same time, he absolutely did the wrong thing by making that post on Twitter, which now is what YouTube is saying the reason why they're treating him like that. So in reality, it's just a really complex, very fucked up situation. And it sucks. You know, I know I've got to be careful about what I say. If I'm critical of YouTube, I have to do it in a very fair manner, and I have to do it in a way that can't be misconstrued, you know, because I have these assholes who watch everything I say and do and try to get me in trouble for it, right? Okay. Anyway, I mean, again, I don't know the full story. I don't have all the details. I can't fully comment on it. I just give you my nutshell response, which is, it's the guy shouldn't be treated the way he's getting treated. It's not fair. At the same time, from a corporate standpoint, when you see a post like that, you know, I can understand why there was a reaction. Okay? Okay. Jade says, you know, the one playthrough of the Quarry is fine, but don't do two. All right, Jade, thank you for your feedback. All right, let's get the shout-outs. Snow Carl to the $1.50 said, do you think media such as the Quarry, dark anthologies, etc., really can be called interactive movies rather than games? I like it in the vehicles. Sure, a bicycle has two wheels and propels you forward, but it's certainly not no MC. What's an MC? I don't know what MC means. No, it's a game. It's definitely a game. It's just a different kind of game. You know? If anything, over time, what's going to happen is the definition of what's a game is going to change. Because we're going to have so many different genres and so many different styles, right? No, it's definitely a game. And then Snow Curl did another $1.50 tip. Says, I'm not American. I'm not well versed in legalese. Were you an employee for Twitch? No. Did Amazon get around the law by labeling streamers as consultants or resellers? No. Some European Union companies skirt the law by not hiring and instead using consultants. No. Essentially, when you enter into any of these agreements with YouTube or Twitch, you're not an employee, all right? They consider you a talent. Yes. And it's the same as if an artist had an agreement to provide a series of works to be displayed at a museum or another medium, and that medium they would distribute the work, and they would make some money on it, while the person creating the work made some kind of money or payment arrangement. It's hard to describe because there really isn't much else like it. There's things that are similar, but there's nothing much else like it. It's certainly weird. What they do is, the reason that Twitch and YouTube do not want to call anyone employees is very simple. When you're an employee of a company, that company now has certain legal requirements. For example, a lot of companies are required to provide health care if you work a certain amount of hours, okay? I work over 40 hours a week on YouTube content. If I were an employee of YouTube, they'd have to give me health care, all right? They're not going to provide health care for everyone who makes videos for the site. You see? So, to them, they need to make sure that people are categorized correctly, all right? So it is what it is, but no, what it is you have a contract to create content at your own leisure. There's no agreement that you have to make a certain amount of content or anything like that. It's an open-ended contract. You make content, you're able to upload it, they're able to monetize it and make money on it, and then you get a cut of that, okay? That's the agreement. And then, of course, there's other agreements. For example, the agreement for paid memberships. You get a cut of this membership. They keep a cut of the membership. Super stickers, same thing. Same thing with cheers, subs over on Twitch. There's all these agreements that you don't work for them, but you're allowed to broadcast on the site, and there's these means to make revenue, and they get some and you get some. And then yes, they can terminate the contract for any reason. However, there are definitely reasons that are illegal. Like they accuse you of something you didn't do. Then they violated their contract. Right. This is what people don't understand. Oh, they could terminate your contract for any reason. Okay, but it has to be a reason that happened. That's the point I'm making. Also, it can't be for like, oh, because we just don't like this certain kind of person and you're that kind of person. That could be considered unfair termination as well. There's many different reasons with that they could be held accountable for their actions. Yes, Protusum Zone. The mods banned you. That's why we can all see your message. Anyway. All right. So thank you for the 2 tips there, Snow Carl. Saul Martinez did a super chat. He says, let the chat dictate the decisions in the game. No, we're not doing that. First of all, it'd be too hard to do on the fly. Second of all, the whole point of me playing the game is that I play it. You know, this is not, YouTube plays the Quarry. This is Phil's playthrough of the Quarry. All right. If we were to do a second playthrough, a second run where people were making the decisions, that's different. But no, we're not doing that in this run. All right. And that's it, guys. We got 1 super chat and we got the 2 tips from Snow Carl. Anyone else got anything they want to talk about? Is Xbox down? I don't know. No, I'm connected. I seem to be connected. Yeah, I'm good. I already talked about Street Fighter 6 this morning. Check out earlier in the podcast for that. How's the walking routine going? Good, actually. Yeah. What I can tell you is since it's been a few weeks now, about 3 weeks or so, roughly. I'm trying to remember exactly when I started. I don't even remember. I'm not really keeping track, but basically it's every other day. Excuse me. It's every other day. I started off slow, walking about like a mile. Now I'm walking about a mile and a half, a little over that, increasing the rate that I walk. Because it's still the same. I walk for about 30 minutes. I time myself. But I walk greater distance at a more rapid pace. Okay? It's good. I would tell you right now, my legs feel very different. I'm serious. Like, my legs feel good. I'm able to get up, move around easily, and I don't have any issues at all with my legs kind of feeling stiff or anything like that. I can tell you this, seriously, my circulation is good now. Like, I was having some issues, a little bit of issue with, I felt like with circulation, a little bit of numbness and things. I told you, you sit around all day, you have these issues. I don't think I'm having the issues anymore. I know I don't want to jump the gun, and say, oh, these problems are completely gone. But definitely I'm feeling like a little better. I'm feeling a little better. I'm feeling like I have a little bit more energy. I'm feeling a little bit more mobile. And the other thing is I'm just not getting winded doing stuff anymore. Like, no exaggeration, I would go out on my day off, have a busy day with Kat, going around grocery shopping and doing other things. And I would come home and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sore and I'm exhausted. Oh, right? And now that's not happening anymore. I come home and I feel fine. I'm not even kidding you. I used to walk to the mailbox and come back and I would feel winded. I'd be sweating. My wife would look at me like, you're sweating profusely. All you did was walk to the mailbox. Like, yeah, I know. This is not good. All right? That's not happening anymore. In fact, I actually checked the mail the other day. I power walked to the mailbox and back, and I walked in the house. I had not a bead of sweat, and I wasn't out of breath. I was like, this is good. It's just a matter I sat on my butt for years and years, and did nothing, like an asshole. And now I am. I'm actually moving now, and it's better. Things are feeling good. Now, of course, this is not the same as having a full workout regimen or whatever. All right? And like I said, what I want to do eventually, the longer I do this, is, further and further, push myself a little more. And then finally, when I find that that's not enough, then maybe increase it. Like, for example, change my schedule. So maybe I'm getting up early mornings, and now I'm doing this every day, right? In the morning, I'm doing this. As opposed to right now, I'm kind of cramming it between streams. That's what I did yesterday. I finished my first stream. I uploaded. I ate dinner, and then I jumped right into my routine of, let's go walk, 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 walk. And then I jumped in the shower right after. So I think what I'll do is maybe I'll eventually change my whole schedule. And make it so that every day maybe I'm doing this. I get up, and immediately jump outside and walk, 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 walk. Come in, take a shower, then have breakfast, and then have my stream. Might be a good way to go about it, We'll see. Right now it's not yet, but it may happen. Right now, like I said, I'm basically doing this like every other day, and I'm feeling good about it. I am. I'm seeing positive results in only a few weeks. I'm not losing tons of weight or whatever, but I'm feeling better, which is a good thing. And by the way, Jade, yes, I see that you saw you're gonna leave soon. I hope that you have a good time at the movies. Tell us what you think about it. Wow. Expand Dong says, temper your expectations for the Cuphead DLC. It's only 5 bosses, only about 4 hours long, and there's no platforming stages. It's $8. I calmed myself. I didn't explode. I was about to explode. I calmed myself. Well, all I will say is that's disappointing. There you go. That's what I'll say. It's disappointing. I was hoping for more. All right. Guys, let's end the pre-stream and let's get back into the quarry, shall we? Okay.